war started, it never would have happened if you'd been president. But this war is going on, and the president is trying to end it, not because, listen, we got a million things to focus on in the world as a country, but he's the only leader in the world that can help end it. And that's why even as we speak to you now, Steve Woodcock is in Moscow trying to find a way to end this war, to save lives of 9,000 people, Mr. President, as you know, are dying every week.
Our president has been falling asleep left, right, and center, and it's just been ramping up over the past couple of weeks especially. As we saw in that cabinet meeting clip, Marco Rubio was literally talking to him, and he could not keep his eyes open. Now, there's a lot of speculation on what's going on. Is he just working so hard that he's tired all the time? Is there something more serious going on? Well, according to a lot of people speculating, there actually might be a major medical crisis that he's battling. So Trump showing signs he's battling major medical crisis, Democrat claims. President Donald Trump's tiredness, recent MRI, and hand bruise suggest he may be taking medication to treat Alzheimer's disease, according to a, quote, curious California Democrat. Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove of California tweeted that Trump is showing signs he's taking the Alzheimer's disease drug Leqembi. The Alzheimer's drug Leqembi is administered through an infusion, for example, through the hand, can cause swelling, bleeding, or fluid leakage in the brain, requiring regular MRIs, can cause tiredness. Kamlager-Dove tweeted along with a picture of Trump's hand bruise, curious. And here's the picture associated with the tweet. As you can see, Trump's hand looks very enlarged and bruised, and it's covered in a series of Band-Aids there. And we've all seen the pictures of his bruised hand from before. So we know that this is kind of an ongoing thing. This isn't just like, a one-time episode that's occurred. As for the MRI the president underwent in October, the White House physician said that the imaging was, quote, preventative, adding that the results were, quote, perfectly normal. Now, the thing with MRIs that's been pointed out before is they're not something that's done as a preventative measure. MRIs are almost always done in response to something to see if there's something wrong internally with the body. Almost no physician or any expert in the matter says that MRIs are done as like a preventative type of, occasional thing. When bruising on Trump's hand appeared over the summer, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt said it was consistent with the irritation from his, quote, frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin. Last week, a New York Times article reported that Trump is showing, quote, signs of fatigue in his second term, pointing to a less robust public schedule than his first term. The article pointed to an occasion at noon on November 6 when Trump held an event on drug prices in the Oval Office. At one point, Mr. Trump's eyelids drooped until his eyes were almost closed, and he appeared to doze on and off for several seconds, the report stated. At another point, he opened his eyes and looked toward a line of journalists watching him. He stood up only after a guest who was standing near him fainted and collapsed. This week, the president was observed appearing to doze off during his cabinet meeting Tuesday and while hosting the leaders of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda on Thursday.
Provide everything needed to end this conflict once and for all. If this agreement falters and things do not work out as they are supposed to.
Mike, what do you think of dozing Don over here giving Sleepy Joe a run for his money?
Sorry, what? Huh? What are we talking about? Yeah, he's definitely been falling asleep a lot more. I personally completely forgot, but you're absolutely right about the situation where he fell asleep in front of the drug company as they were pitching this new weight loss drug, and all that kind of got overshadowed because somebody there fainted, and so I would say on completely honest level, I would say being the president is probably one of the most intense jobs, if not the most intense job on the planet. It's, it ages people like crazy. I'm sure it's extremely, extremely, extremely demanding. And to do so at such an age, obviously, you're under tremendous amounts of pressure. And you're likely on some sort of uppers in general at that age. Maybe not, I don't know. But I would imagine, you know, Biden was under similar strain as well. But it's definitely frustrating how the right will demonize Joe Biden and his entire administration, going so far as to even replace to praise Trump's replacement of Joe Biden's official picture in the White House with a picture of an auto pen, saying like, "Oh, he was asleep the whole time. He wasn't really there," blah blah blah. But meanwhile, Trump is equally guilty, if not more guilty, of tangential rants that just kind of go on and on and on and on. This was a big thing that I remember Kamala made fun of him for, about how his rallies are boring and people are leaving early because he's just ranting so much about nothing. And that was something that I know the Good Liars covered a good amount as well in their rally coverage too. And yet when Trump's like falling asleep, nobody seems to really, the defense is always, well, he's old, and I understand that. I'm not saying that it's bad for him to be falling asleep, but to me, this is just a double standard. That's the real frustration that I feel.
Yeah, I don't remember a single time during Biden's administration where for like 2 weeks straight he was passing out at almost every single televised event. I really don't remember that ever happening, because if it did, I'm sure it would have been all over the news. I mean, for sure, Fox News would be covering that with 24/7 nonstop coverage. And I don't remember any reports like that. So that makes me think either Trump really is aging faster than Biden in some ways, because he is a couple years younger than Biden, but he seems to be exhibiting more signs of tiredness. Or maybe this Democrat is onto something with these concerns of him being on this anti-Alzheimer's drug. Maybe there's more to dig in there. But if the accusations are true, where it is an intravenous thing, it does require an MRI, which he did just have. It does make you very drowsy. I mean, he's ticking all these boxes, which is making a lot of people, go, is this what's going on? What's going on? There's a lot of speculation because from the supposed most transparent administration in history, they ain't telling us jack shit about what his condition is and what's going on, or even what he got the MRI for, or what the bruise on his hand was from. They're just making up stuff, how it was from shaking lots of hands. No president in history has ever had a bruise on their hand from shaking too many people's hands, and that's all presidents do. So I'm not buying that crap.
Yeah, but his handshake is stronger, dude. Don't forget. But in all seriousness, though, I fully agree. The MRI thing, I think, is the most concerning out of all of these, because it's like, look, if you're falling asleep, again, as much as I dislike the guy, I'll be honest, like, you're only human, right? You can only do so much, especially at that age, especially at that level. Fine, whatever. Okay, fine. But when it comes to the MRIs, like, that definitely means something. And when he doesn't even know what he's getting them for, or claims he doesn't know what he's getting them for, that's kind of weird. And the bruising on the hand was odd, but, again, being told that it's specifically because of shaking hands, that I don't buy that at all. I've had a very similar bruise for getting blood work done out of my wrist, or not my wrist, but the top of my hand. So, like, it's possible he had blood work done, but then the question is, well, what blood work was he getting done? But then they're not saying that. They're saying, oh, well, he shook hands. So yeah, it's all very strange. But I also just remembered that there's that time period, I can't remember how long ago it was, where he was missing for like a week or something. I don't know if you remember. People were wondering if he was dead. And that's kind of crazy that Trump was just off the grid for several consecutive days. Nobody knew what really happened, where he was. He wasn't giving any press conferences. And so what happened there? Was that just he needed some rest? I don't even remember what the answer is to where he had been. But like you said, I don't remember that happening with Biden. I don't remember that happening with Obama or Bush or Clinton, you know, so like this is definitely new and different.
Yeah, for the man who can't keep his own face off of the cameras, he was gone for 6 days, I believe it was, just a few months back. And nobody knew where the hell he was. They weren't telling anybody what he was up to. I don't remember even what explanation they give for his absence, but, you know, there's no way that Trump would willfully excuse himself from media coverage for 6 days straight unless there was something else going on. That's for sure. So anyways, you know, as this unfolds, as we learn more, because he's the most televised man in the world, and we're going to learn if or when something happens, we'll be keeping you guys posted as this continues.